So what we will be talking about today are tube fillers. So what you will learn today is where to find this on Sigma's website, what a tube filler is, how and where this is used in a customer's production line. You'll see things that are found before and after the tube filler, different manufacturers that we typically see in this industry, as well as benefits and features that tube fillers have to offer, industries that this can be used in, and questions and key points when talking to customers and clients. So where to find this on Sigma's website, the customer would go to buy equipment, then processing equipment, and from that point, it will pull up our whole category list. They would go down to filler, and this will be a subcategory, which would be tube filler. So a little bit about the category definition. This type of filling equipment is used to fill metal and plastic tube containers, whether that be creams and lotions, different types of food products, pharmaceuticals, greases, different types of gels and glues, as well as pastes and powders. Most of these machines do include closing mechanisms, whether that's a heat and seal and trim method, which is typically seen with plastic material, or a fold and crimp for metal tubes or aluminum tubes. So in a production line, what you would see prior to a tube filler upstream, you would see different mixers for mixing the product, holding tanks, pumps, laning conveyors, possibly for your tubes, emulsifiers and homogenizers, metal detectors for detecting any impurities that may be in the product. Downstream, you could see case sealers and case packers, labelers, induction sealers, as well as ink and laser jet coaters. We do work directly with VideoJet. We do work with them and get new equipment. That's always an upsell when mentioning this. So in my first video, I would like to demonstrate a automatic tube filling machine. This unit can be used to decrease production costs, help decrease waste product, and ramp up production. So this is made by Nueco. You can see the operator is filling the cassette with pre-made tubes. He's going to set the PLC to the fill range. So you can see those tubes are being fed into the placeholders. Where they will then be met by those forming cones, just to make sure every tube is in unison. And then it's met with a piston filler that's being fed by the hopper. Slide discharge conveyor that just goes into the bin with your final product. It's a pretty simple device. So in my next video, this is also another automatic tube filling machine, but the difference between the first video and this video is that this material is aluminum tubes. So there is a little bit of difference when sealing. We'll discuss that a little later in the presentation as well. So the same type of operation. Those tubes are being fed, pushed down by a mandrel. They give a good slow-mo shot. As you can see to the right, those are the forming cones, just to make sure they're all going to have that same diameter. And it's about presentation. You don't want to get any of these tubes and the seal be messed up or defective. Then you can see it's met with a piston filler. Looks like it has a no product, no fill. Fill detection on the right. And then that's the sealing mechanism that just holds it. It's a heat seal. And that's the trimming method. So this is how it can be used to reduce waste products. This can be recycled and placed back into production. And it just has the pop-out ejection, which goes to the slide conveyor, which then goes to the bin and can move on to the next phase of the production. So in my third and final video, I would like to just demonstrate a semi-automatic tube filling machine. So this is typically used for people who are looking to get their feet wet, mom and pop shops. Their production is not as demanding, so they may not need a fully automatic machine. So as you can see, he's setting the fill volume. He's gonna set that temperature on what he needs it to be. And as you can see, he's actually manually moving those placeholders as it's being sealed, filled and sealed. Moving it from the last to the first. He's gonna take that tube, place it in there. He'll actually have to manually push this down the line. And once he pushes that start button, it's going to fill it with that filler, and it's going to also seal it at the end. So this is moving at a much slower pace, but for people whose production is not that demanding, again, this could be a great option for them. All right, so typical manufacturers that you see in this industry are Oystar, Calyx, Vanguard Pharmaceutical Machinery, and Accutech. I know that we are familiar with Accutech. I know that we have a lot of their new products, new labelers here, but they do also specialize in tube filling as well. All right, so next I wanted to talk about the type of seal for different types of materials. So you have your impulse, which could be a low-cost option. This is a low-cost option for sealing tubes. It's easy to use, it's lightweight, it's portable. However, this is typically used for lab testing. It does have an unattractive seal. You're getting what you pay for. You do have your ultrasonic. It works great for plastics. However, it doesn't work well with different types of foils and laminate tubes. And then you have your hot air, which is your most common. This is typically used on all different types of materials, and this can be used in a high-speed production facility. So industries that this is typically seen in are pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, foods. Engineering questions for acquisitions or to ask when you're on the road or on the phone with the customer, or relevant questions would be, how many stations, how many filling heads, the output capacity, the tube length, the minimum and maximum fill range, what type of filling style is this doing? Is this rotary? Is it semi-automatic, manual, inline? And what type of materials can this machine run? Can it run plastic, metals, aluminums, and things of that nature? Category takeaways, key features or optional add-ons could be single or double heads for sealing, which can increase your production rate for sealing. Change parts for the forming cone if you're running different types of product throughout your facility. And mixing at the hopper. So for instance, if you have a greasy product and that needs to be mixed before filled in the tube. For purchasing or acquisitions, knowing what that output capacity is very important. That's probably the number one question that's going to be asked, and whether it's inline or rotary. For sales, knowing the tube dimensions and knowing what type of material the customer is running. As mentioned before in the presentation, we need to know what type of material because not every machine can handle every type of material. So we need to make sure that we're putting them in the correct unit. So just a little recap of what we've learned today. We know that this type of filling equipment is used to fill plastic and metal tube-shaped containers with various different types of products, as you can see here. The type of industries this is used in: pharmaceutical, cosmetics, foods, the different types of seal types, ultrasonic, and hot air, and the different benefits and features that these have to offer. And with that being said, my name is Edmund, and that concludes my presentation. Thank you.